And
Well, it's
I'm
I'm
good.
so glad that you're here. I've done several events with you, and I'm just so impressed by how you pull things together. I gotta ask you, because there's a lot of people who are like, man, how do I even get started in that? Tell us about the beginnings of you starting, pulling events together, being the promoter you are, using your connections to bring entertainment to the masses.
It's a trip. So it started as third level events. Third level. It went from third level events, third level productions, to whatever. But it started in junior high school. I
Wow.
started throwing parties at the Randolph Carter Center in the CD. I think it's the Catholic Community Services now or something like that. Um, my father used to run it. He used to allow me to do, throw little parties to make money for my drum set. I was a drummer in junior high school, so I used to save up money to get my drum set. So I started doing that, and my father also was a chef at I guess it was called the Cotton Club, but before it was called the Heritage House. He
Mhm.
was the chef at the Heritage House. So I seen Lakeside, the Whispers, Bobby Blue Bland as a little kid. I got pictures of me as a little kid standing by the table. Um, so I guess it's always been in me. Then I teamed up with my frat brother and a few other people, and then we started third level events. Um, uh, so that's where it all started, right? And now it's evolved into now I'm doing dope culture. I changed 31 years later.
Wow.
It's it's dope culture LLC. Um,
31 years,
yeah,
Tibbs. That is huge.
yeah.
I
We
mean,
just celebrated 31 years.
talk about impacting community, because I mean, oftentimes I know I put events together, and sometimes it's about the who you know piece, because like,
Mhm.
how do you get to know different musicians and celebrities to bring them here, to bring entertainment here from out of town? Like, that's a huge part of this, right?
Yeah, I've always been intrigued with like different artists. A lot of people don't know that I was in a group called Third Level, so that's where it started too.
Ah.
A singing group, R&B group. We opened up for James Brown and Mint Condition and that type of thing. We shot a video that aired. So we've been doing this. I've been doing it for a long time. I also went on tour with Sir Mix-a-Lot, and I
Wow.
met a lot of artists, the Ice Cubes, the whoever, all the summer jams. And I would always, every show, I'd go over and talk to the artists and get their information. I'd come back off a tour and then bring that artist to Seattle. All right.
Wow.
A lot of people been doing it so long that I got Mary J. Blige back in the day. I was the club promoter. I got Mary J. Blige for $500.
Wow.
Yeah, Mary J. Blige, the 411 tour. You're right. Um, Mary J. Blige, Jodeci, $1,000. Right, and then I moved into comedy too. Right, so but yeah, just relationships. You know what I'm saying? Relationships, reaching out. A lot of times you don't have to go to the agencies if you don't. If you got a good relationship with a lot of people. Um, I just had good relationships and I got a lot of referrals, right? So I'd get people's home number and call Cedric the Entertainer, my fraternity brother, at home, and he would tell me, hey, I'm gonna hook you up with Chris Tucker. I'm gonna hook you up with Dave Chappelle. I brought Dave Chappelle for 2 shows for $1,500.
Wow.
Cat Williams for $400. That's how long I've been doing this. So yeah,
Wow.
long,
I mean,
long time.
look, any promoter here, I don't know, Cuddy, I don't know if your ears are buzzing over there, because Cuddy be putting events together, man. I mean, these numbers are unheard of, especially now. I mean, now we're in 2023. It's a whole different world. But you also, too, you're not just tapping in with talent from outside of the state. You also really build relationships with talented individuals right here on the home turf. And I have been able to witness some phenomenal vocalists, musicians that you've been connected with, pulling shows together. Tell us a bit about the family almost aspect that it seems like you've created with these relationships right here at home as well.
That's the one thing I hold dear. Um, do good business. Do good business, and I care about the people who work with me. I check on them. They might have some issues going on at home. You know what I'm saying? I develop a relationship with them. They are like family to me. And there's so many talented people here, and that a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people, just because they're big doesn't mean that they're, what I'm saying, they're not. They're so much more talented. Right?
Mhm.
I know some comedians right here that'll blaze a lot of these other, comedians that's made it already. They got writers, but but these singers, like the ones you're talking, like a lot of the artists, that the poets and the singers, I mean, they're phenomenal, right? A lot of them don't travel because they got families here, whatever,
Mhm.
but they've been doing it. They just needed a platform. You know what I'm saying? And I'm always thankful, and I always thank them. I always text them. They'll tell you. I always let them know that I appreciate them allowing me to showcase their talent,
Yeah.
right? Because there's a lot of talented
Ma-
people out here. Yeah.
Hey, look, okay, like man, okay, talent. Like
Right.
when I think of top tier talent, I start going right here at home, and it's really because I've been exposed to the talent through what you've been doing, the events that you've been pulling together. So I want to thank you publicly, Tibbs. Like I want to
I
thank you
appreciate
for allowing me to be involved in it, but also just providing these amazing opportunities for us to vibe and groove here. Folks are always like, black folks ain't doing nothing up in Seattle.
Right.
Ain't black folks ain't doing. And I'm like, that's not true. If you're tapped in, you're actually
Right.
at some dope events that are like, have you walking away like breathtaking by the amazing talent. And I've heard nothing but great things about all of the events that I've been able to work with you on, and then events from before, because everybody's like, oh man, Tip's always been doing it. Tip's always been doing it. And it's just one
Long
of those
time.
things. It's like a legacy that you really have built. Tell us a bit about how that actually impacts you, because there's a lot of impact that you have created in community because of your connections, because of your vision to pull these kind of events together and give the city something to like look forward to. That's got to be impactful to you as well.
It is. That's the mission, though. That is the mission. I want to enhance the lives of our people. You know, Soul music, it enhances my life. Comedy, I love comedy. We need to laugh. It's therapy,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, it definitely it's a big deal to me. I wish my father was here to see it. I wish my mother was still here. To see what's going on. I think they'd be very very proud of the things that I'm doing with the community. Yeah, partnerships, Africa Town, of course, Y King, and Trae. Real talk, you didn't took my shows to another level. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. I mean, I call you every time. I don't care if it's last minute. You always got my back, and I appreciate that. Real talk. I mean that. That's a big deal for me. Like I said, is I want to enhance the lives of our people. And I know music, comedy, things like that, art, that does that. And it does it for me. So I really want to really get it out there and do what I can. So yeah.
Well, you have been doing it, man. You've been doing what you can and then some. You've been doing your part and some other folks too. I just got to say, because honestly, it's one of those things for me where I get to dismantle that notion that nothing's going on in Seattle, or oh man, there ain't no talent there. But like I get to dismantle that every single time. And I'm like, you have no idea. And I start putting people on. They're like, wait a minute, who is this artist? Who is this? I'm like, I'm telling you, they're right here. You know what I mean? So I love that you have really been intentional about bringing these events to the public. You got one coming up in like a week, next weekend or something. Tell us a bit about what you got coming up next.
So we've done a few events similar to it. This is a little different for me, but it's gonna be fire. We're working hard to make it happen. I got a team. I just want to make sure I put that out there. I'm never doing this alone.
Right.
I got a dope team. And shout out to them because they too took this whole business to another level for me. So it's called The Evolution of Neo Soul. See, a lot of people don't know where neo soul, where it came from. What's the difference between soul and neo soul, that type of thing. And I didn't know a lot of it, right? But what I did is I had an idea about it. I sat down and talked to DJ Rockefeller and Vitamin D, right? And their dialogue inspired me to, I got to put this on stage. You know what I'm saying? I got to put this on stage so people could talk about, the Sam Cookes, the Donny Hathaways, the Marvin Gayes, right? And how it turned to the Jill Scotts, the Maxwells, the D'Angelos, right? Erykah Badu. And so we put that together. It's a dialogue between those two. It's a hot, you're going to like this. Wow. You're really going to like this. I mean, well, you're going to be there because you're going to open up the show for me. So, yeah, it's it's a hot one. So January 14th and 15th at Langston Hughes, MLK weekend in honor of MLK. We're doing 2 shows. One show Saturday, 7 p.m. Sunday, 3 p.m. And what we want to do is we want to make sure like we always tap into the community. Like you said, I want to make sure I do that. So what we added was a black business marketplace, right? So 2 hours before the show, we'll open up and have all the black businesses vending, and we have a little lounge down there, to make sure we support the community as well, as not just entertaining them, right, and making sure they get involved. And that's the whole thing about how I changed from third level events. We did all the parties, the all white parties with 1,000 people show up, and on all the different parties, a lot of hip hop and stuff, to dope culture. So dope culture is attached to everything, different things that are connected to the community, and we're always giving back. So this one, the last thing we did was the Funny for Pink, right, and that was for breast cancer. This one is will benefit Black males and prostate cancer, right? So we want to, every event we do, every event you see dope culture do, is attached to something that's going to benefit our people.
Wow.
Right. So that's the thing. So January 14th and 15th, the evolution of Neo Soul, it's going to be hot. Trust me, it's going to be hot. Please get your tickets. The tickets are on Eventbrite. We're on Facebook, Dope Culture LLC, Third Level Events, Anthony Tibbs, on Instagram as well, Facebook and Instagram. I appreciate all the support. I'm going to keep, as long as they keep supporting, I'm going to keep, I'm going to make sure I keep the level up.
Wow. So, yeah. Keep the level up. You always up, Tibbs. Thank you so much. And I look forward to being there the 14th and 15th. This evolution of Neo Soul. I am such a Neo Soul fan, and it really represents a specific era in music for me that's personal. So I'm so excited. I'm ready for this. Looking forward to it. And thank you so much, Tibbs, for what you've been giving to community all of these years. 31 years is huge. We appreciate you so much, brother. Thank you so much. And I'll be with you on the 14th and 15th, man. We're going to rock it hard.
That's what's up. I appreciate you. I do. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. You guys, I told you it was going to